Hey, what's going on there, JMU? It's Chris. I'm the Assistant Director for Sport Clubs and Inclusive Recreation at UREC, and today I'm going to go into our fourth session for the disc golf series we've been doing this summer, and we're talking about putting today. So putting is when you are finishing out the hole and the disc either ends up in the bottom of the basket or suspended in the chains in the basket. Putting is typically done when you are in the range of the basket where you feel comfortable that you do not need to have a run up and that you can use a putter. The actual putting circle where you are not allowed to move is a 10-meter circle that goes around the basket. So anytime you are within about 31, 32 feet, you have to be planted on the ground, release the disc, demonstrate balance, and you're not allowed to fall forward. If you're outside that 10-meter circle, you could still have a run-up or a walk-up to get the disc propelled forward. What we're going to talk about today is two main different styles of putting. And just like throwing or just like any other sport, you need to figure out what you feel comfortable doing and what's comfortable to you when you're doing this to get better at it. And we may talk about a third one as well, but there's really two typical styles that you'll see the best players in the world use. There's what we call a spin putt and what we call a push putt, and they're very different, but you can be really accurate and good with either. Just depends on what you feel the most comfortable with. So the first one we'll talk about is the spin putt, and really what the spin putt refers to is actually spinning the disc off your body and creating a lot of rotation as it flies through the air. Typically what that means is that first thing when you want to think about, no matter if you're a spin putter or a push putter, is your stance. You want to get in some type of an athletic stance to get anchored to the ground and face your target, whatever that might be. So for me, I want to be in some type of athletic stance and face my target. From there, when it comes to a spin putt, what I'm talking about is I'm bringing the disc into my chest, I'm breaking my elbow and wrist, and I am spinning the disc towards the basket. I'm really just spinning it and flicking the wrist to give it a good flight. The big key with this is repetition and practice, but it's also about being really grounded in your stance and using your legs to push off and spin that disc towards the basket. I'm a spin putter. That's typically what I've found that I can be the most accurate with and I feel the most comfortable with. The second style of putting is what we call a push putt. And while your stance is just as important as a spin putt, the big difference is your arm. Again, with that spin putt, you're breaking your wrist and your elbow and you're snapping the disc out. With a push putt, you're doing more of your arm is more straight, your elbow is typically more locked, bringing the disc down, and then it's just a little flick of your wrist. You're actually pushing the disc with your arm straight. A lot of players prefer this because they feel like they can line their arm up with the basket and it keeps the disc going that towards the basket. You have less chance to go right or left because you're not breaking your elbow like a spin putt. So you're really just lining it up, bringing it down, and pushing it to the basket. And it's like releasing it and pushing it to the basket. Again, it really doesn't matter what style you choose. It is really about what feels the most comfortable for you. The third, sometime used putting style that I'll just mention, if you're behind a tall bush and you can't really go through it, but you might be able to see over it, is called a pizza putt. And you basically are holding the disc almost like, if you think of like a pizza, that you're like spinning up in the air as you're tossing the dough. So you can see I have my four fingers on the outside edge. I have my thumb kind of under the middle, and I'm basically gonna throw this off like a baseball or football, where I'm just kind of doing that. It's harder to throw the disc farther with a pizza putt, but it can be handy if you are kind of stepping out around something and you have an angle to do that. So again, there's lots of really good videos out there of professional players who know a lot more about this than I do that could really help you improve your game. It's fun to throw long shots and see the disc fly, but it's just really important to be able to finish when you get around that 10-meter circle when it comes to putting. So I hope the series has helped a little bit for you and that you've enjoyed it. I know I have. And get out there on the course and throw. Thanks.